I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes, especially like hanging out with you guys, or like, and don't take this the wrong way, but like hanging out with you guys and other people who were not as well off as me.
Dang, you can see this guys. I thought this was a podcast. I'm like roast.
Hanging out when I was hanging out with poor people. Jeez. When I was hanging out with the lower class citizens.
Every time Joey sees this, like peasants.
When I hung out with peasants, like it just no, like this. Okay, this might sound really weird, and this is gonna sound very privileged, but low key, I was a little jealous. I was like,
Explain.
all right, ready?
Yeah.
Let's do this. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Joe's Funland. I'm your host, Joho, and today we have, actually, before we start, I have a very special announcement, a very important announcement. By the time you guys are listening to this, we will have officially launched our new game, CSP. So, I don't know about y'all, but the older I get, the more I'm hearing this phrase. The older that we get, the harder it is to make new friends, right? But I don't think that it has to be that way. So that's why we created this game. Each game has unique artwork on one side, interesting conversation questions on the other side, specifically designed to help you break the ice and make new friends. If you're interested in learning more about this, I'm going to leave a link in the description below. And supporting these products helps support our shows and lets us keep doing what we're doing. So thank you guys so much for that. Now to get into the actual episode, today I have two very special guests with me. If you've listened to any of our previous episodes, especially in season 2, you might have heard them in the background. But today you'll actually get to see them. These are my roommates, my close friends, Daniel and Sam. Woo! What's going on, guys?
What's up, Joey?
What's up?
Dude, thank you guys for coming on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having us. About time.
Yeah, well, what were you saying earlier about?
About time, yeah. It's been like, I was like, when is Joey going to ask us?
Exactly.
So, excited for this.
Here we are. Yeah, I'm especially excited because of the topic that we're going to cover today, just because I know we've kind of we've touched a little bit on it in our like day-to-day regular talks, but tonight we can get in deep with it. So today we're going to be talking about the topic of money.
Okay.
I'm going to start us off this episode with a quick would you rather question.
Okay.
All right. Would you rather be rich or be poor?
Huh.
I'll let you take it.
Yeah. I think the easy answer is obviously rich, right?
But is it really the easy answer, though? That's the question.
So that's where it's more like a philosophical thing. Meaning that people who are technically, the stereotype is if you're poor, you're forced to find creative ways of thinking. Whereas rich, you can really throw money at the solution, right? So when you're rich, and you don't really, the obstacles are very small. The same obstacles are smaller to someone that's poor. So I'd still rather be rich because at the end of the day, it's going to solve my problems a lot easier. But I do understand the want, the promise being poor may bring.
Okay. What about you, Daniel?
There's a lot that goes into it. Because like I feel like the old me, and I think the answer still will be the same from like younger self me and now, is the answer is yes. But I think more now. The reason I say rich will be because like it doesn't make life easier, quote unquote. But I would say growing up poor can build a lot of like certain type of characteristics like grit. Like working hard, understanding the value of the dollar, which I'm not saying like if you grew up in like the wealthier, higher socioeconomic class with all the money already, like you won't have that, or you can't build that. But just with me not overthinking it, growing up rich, because it helps solve a lot of problems.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like everybody's obviously, if you listen to that question, you're like, duh, everyone wants to be rich rather than poor. But, and not to, okay, this is gonna sound so privileged, but not to like throw this out to make anybody poor feel bad, but being rich is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Right. But like you said, being poor also teaches you things that being rich never will.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And I think that's also why I'm so excited to get into this with you guys, is because we've all known each other since we were like kids, right?
Yeah.
So I know how y'all grew up and y'all know how I grew up.
Yeah.
And we all grew up very differently.
Yep.
But it's also interesting because you two grew up the same, but you guys also have very different outlooks on money now, as adults. On a scale of like spender and saving, where do you guys feel like you fall on that scale? Like for me, I'm on the extreme. I'm a spender. I spend the minute I get a paycheck, it's gone. Like I'm spending my money.
I would say, and this might be the same as you, Daniel, but I like to save my money, and if I do spend my money, it's towards saving as well.
What?
So I'm not a person that likes to buy lavish things besides suits and whatnot. Like I don't find like the nice cars or nice shoes or nice house that attractive. I think these are things that are means to an end. Like if
Okay.
I were to spend money, it would be spending on more of like investment like things, such as real estate, stock bonds, assets.
Okay.
So that's where I mean like I would love to spend, but that's still going towards more of saving.
Okay.
I think for me, it's changed over the years. Now, if like 10 was the extreme of saving, 1 was the extreme of like spending, I'll be probably around 7 or 8, leaning towards saving. But when I first got like my first big boy job out of college, I did kind of like go off rails, and I was like probably like 5. To some people, like that might sound weird, but like to me, like spending like half my paycheck, let's say, that was big for me.
For you, that's extreme.
Yeah,
That's a
yeah,
lot.
because like
Yeah.
I'm very like risk averse when it comes to stuff like that,
Yeah.
conservative. But yeah, that's my answer. 7 to 8.
Okay. So for you guys, I don't know, for our audience listening, they might not know, but you guys grew up poor. Like you guys didn't have a whole lot growing up. But also I feel like you guys have kind of seen both sides of the coin, whereas like you guys have also, now that we're adults, we've entered into our adult age. You know, we're all kind of making our own money now, and I'd say we do pretty well for ourselves as
Yeah.
far as like, you know, we're not broke as we were when we were like young, you know. So
We don't have to eat ramen every day.
some of us choose to willingly.
Yeah, well, it's acquired taste, right?
Yeah. But one of the questions that I was curious to know is, how do you feel like your upbringing affects how you view money today?
That's very good. The biggest thing is to see money as an instrument rather than something we strive for. So I was talking to the neighbor recently, and we always talk about money, and also talking to our friend Ed, right? We were saying that, what if the world ends tomorrow? And he was like, I'll go into the bartering system because I have things I can provide for other people. And that's one thing I as growing up in our circumstance, I started realizing is that money can make things easier, but you can also mitigate that with what we can do. So whereas a lot of our colleagues will have the opportunity to get tutors and whatnot, I was had to study twice the amount, right? Or if they were able to like go out to eat restaurants, my mom would cook more. So it gave me the value of skills over anything else. So so that also extends to like education too. It's like I go to school not for the paper, but for the knowledge. So money, anyone can make money. We're all young, so the money is just a piece of paper. What matters more is like my skills, what I can do, and how can I leverage it.
What about you, Daniel?
I think it started like hitting me maybe around like high school when I was like, money's really important to me personally. Like, you need it for the society. And in a sense, I found some sort of security with the money. That was throughout like high school. It bled into college. That's what led me to my current career path, my current career right now. But I would say, as I get older, I don't rely on it too much anymore, and I say that's a privilege, but also like we talked about this too, and Sam, we talked about this because like our belief in scripture, like how we need to have faith in Him that He will supply everything. But this going back though, like it did in the past, it was always like that was kind of my security.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something that I feel like it's very ingrained in our society that your net worth is equal to how much your worth is as a person. Whether that's true or not, I think that's up to debate because a lot of people think one way or the other. But it's something that's definitely it. Whether you agree with it or not, it's in our culture, right? Like people who have more money, they obviously get treated with more respect in a lot of social situations.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think that that's something that I never really processed until a lot later in life, just because I grew up a lot more well off than a lot of my peers. I mean, y'all been to my house that I grew up in. Like, it was a nice house.
Yeah.
We had some nice stuff out there, and like, I wasn't like in a mansion or anything like that, but we're definitely more well off than a lot of our friends.
Yeah.
So I always had like a sort of safety net growing up. Like, I never had to worry about money, we talked about this a little bit too, but I did start working early on as well, and I don't I don't really know why I did that because I didn't have to, but I did, and it taught me, like you said, Sam, it taught me a lot of those skills and things like that. But it also, I was never good at saving the money. Whenever I earned it, I just spent it because I was like, oh, I always have a safety net. Like I don't have to worry too much about money, and it kind of like bled into how I view it today. Whereas like I'm big on, oh, if I have money, I want to experience the world. Like, I'll spend my money on travel. I'll spend my money on trying new restaurants.
Yeah.
I'll spend my money on experiences. Because I'm like, at the end of the day, you can't take it with you. When you die, you die. But also, like, it never clicked to me as like, oh, I need to save this money so that I have that security, or I'll have that, like, social standard of, oh, I'm rich so people will respect me, right? Like that never, I don't know, like when did that kind of click in for you, Sam?
More precisely, what do you mean by that?
Like when did your brain understand that, like, oh, money is like how people view how much you're like worth, or not how much you're worth, but like the more money you have, the more respect that you can gain in a room.
I think that was very early on as a kid, even in elementary school. I think how people treat each other, unfortunately, sometimes in church, there are those cliques got going on, and they're like, okay, this person has more money, so therefore they get more attention. Certain high people in church will spend more time with those members because of that said reason. Also, with friends at school, you knew who the PTA person was, So that's something I learned early on. It's like money is definitely very important. And that's also why I think, to touch on what Daniel said earlier, I also thought about that early on when I decided to choose my first career. I've moved careers a lot of times since then. But when I was selecting my first career, I was like, hey, I think I want something that gives me that security, that money, right? Mm-hmm. Not so much about what Daniel, where he started trying to grow towards, is that faith and belief that in God, that He'll provide. So it's more of like, what can we do for it now? Because we see that all the time. And we want that security, want that safety net. We want that, sigh of relief at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah. I know you, especially, like, you went to New York and you were in finance, and like you got a taste of what it's like. You know, you've definitely been around people who got it like that too.
Yeah.
How did you switch out of that mindset?
Well, one thing, just going back to what Sam said, it made me realize like how you realize about the quote unquote power of money, how people view you. Yeah, it goes back to like high school. Like I'm just thinking right now, like people would say, oh, like look at that person having the newest kicks, right? Newest shoes, the coolest shoes. This person, oh, that's a cool Nike, like all those brand stuff, and then you associate like, oh, it's because they can afford that, right? I was just random thought. I just thought about that. But yeah, so in New York, I realized like that some of the people I met, I was like, whoa, this is like a whole nother ball game. They like really make money, and I'm like,
Yeah.
whoa. Like I met friends that were coworkers, not friends, but coworkers that were like trust funds babies. Um, Other coworkers that was like literally randomly go on yoga retreats a weekend that costs $5,000 to $10,000, and I'm like, how are you even affording this? That doesn't make sense. Like this is a lavish lifestyle, quote unquote, but it shifted when I got out of banking. So I was in finance up there, and then March of 2023, I got let go, and it was like looking back, it was the best, like biggest silver lining ever, because my next career, I was like, okay, what do I do? And I was grateful enough to get a job where I was working like a 9 to 5, and then it was a great reset because like a lot of it goes to the people you surround yourself with, because that affects your mindset a lot. But also, during that transition, I was able to like really to process life a bit more now, like my environments, like knowing like who I am as an adult, and that was when I was able to like get more involved with church, get back with church, and like seeking out Christ more, and like really understanding and like processing all of His Word, and that's when like my mind slowly started changing. But I'm not saying I'm perfect. Like there were still days where I told both of you, I'm like, guys, I need to switch careers. I need to make more money. I want to buy more land. I want to like do X, Y, and Z. Like I want to like not eat ramen, whatever. I mean, I don't eat ramen that much. That's y'all. You more
That's
so.
me. That's me.
So like, I'm not trying to like try to sound self-righteous at all. Like there were many days and y'all were there and still are. Like sometimes I'm like, should I just switch? But no, I'm very content with where I am, and like just that mindset that's when it changed. Like when I left my first job, and I'm very grateful for where I am right now.
Yeah. It's a mindset thing. It really is.
It is.
Yeah. Going off of that, though, I do want to transition into, well, not transition, but I do want to go into talking about faith and money, because all of us, you know, we're believers, we're Christian.
Yep.
And it's so interesting because this morning I was thinking about our podcast episode. We planned this topic already like weeks in advance. And then I was reading my Bible this morning, and it went to the passage where the rich young man was asking Jesus, "What do I have to do to get into heaven?" And Jesus goes, "Follow the commandments, and you know you'll get into heaven." And then the rich young man says, "Okay, I followed all of these since birth. Like, what else do I need to do to be like perfect?" And then Jesus says, "Sell everything you got and follow me." And then he left sad because he had a lot of money and he couldn't do it. And I was like, dang, that's crazy. But the first thing that I thought of was like, okay, is it bad to be rich?
I don't think so at all. Did you want to talk first about this?
You can go first.
That's always a great story. But first, to answer your question, no, I don't think it's bad to be rich. One thing I learned, this was 2 years ago. This one guy from my Bible study, my men's group, he said it to all of us, and it really stuck with me. Like, with your money, it's not really your money. As Christians, we believe like this is God's money. It's like, Lord, what do you want me to do with your money? So if He bless you with an abundant amount of cash, cool. But like, as long as you're being wise with it, you're using it to like further His kingdom, I think that's fine. Also, like, reap what you sow. Like, as long as you're not sinning with it, I think that's completely fine. But going back to that story, I think it's in the book of Mark, but I can only imagine like how that guy felt as he's walking away, because it can be so tough, right? Like some of us right now, we're probably not nearly as like rich or well off as that person is, but like, would you right now just give away everything to follow Christ? Like, I think about that. But another verse I really like is, every time I think about money, is Hebrews 13:5. It basically says like, just you cannot fall in love with money, because like Christ will never leave you nor forsake you. It kind of goes back to like, you only have one master, right? You don't want to like worship and idolize money, which that was me in the past. Like I didn't even know about that, but I was like craving that. But yeah, that's what I think.
What are your thoughts, man?
I don't think money or wealth is bad. An extension to what Daniel was saying about our money is not really our money, but God's money. I also think about the story of the talents, right? How we interpret it, because God blesses us all with different things. They put us They put us at, if you think of Monopoly, they put us at different places on the board. Some people are ahead. Somebody has like 4 houses. Some people
Yeah.
have 2. By the end of the day, the way I think how faith restructures or reframes how I think of money, and also how I think about how we react or interact with people is everything at the end of the day, God has a purpose for all of us. We shouldn't be jealous of how, of speaking for myself, we shouldn't be jealous of what other people have. We should be, instead of reframe and say, be happy with what God has given us around us. Because even at the end of the day, no matter how much money we have, if we don't have that type of mindset, we're going to crave more. I was teaching the kids recently about the story of Noah and the ark, and I was saying, man, can you imagine the first day? Everyone's like, woo, we didn't die with everybody else. But after the 5th month, I'm like, dang, this sucks. Every day I wake up, because this is a small ark. Well,
Yeah, I should have
small.
died.
Yeah.
But would have been better than being stuck in the ark.
Yeah, exactly. You wake, like, you have all these animals, you're pooping. Where do you throw the poop? So you wake up with poop, you go to sleep with poop, you're eating while smelling poop, right? You don't have an appetite anymore. You're like, dang, 5 months straight, I'd rather die now.
What did they eat on the ark?
That's a good
Good
question.
question.
Because they couldn't eat animals during that time.
What, did they eat the animals?
No, they didn't eat. They didn't shed
Little-
blood until after the ark.
Little piggies.
Like
They wish.
Some nice little bacon action.
Dude, imagine the food I had to prepare, man.
Man.
That's insane. But also the Israelites, when they left the Promised Land, they were provided everything. Like they had manna, then the manna just they got tired of manna, so God gave them quail. Can you imagine? By side note, like a quail just jumped onto your plate to eat.
Dinner is served.
Wish it was that easy.
Yeah, I wish.
Yeah.
But with all these different stories in the Bible, it just teaches us that, yeah, we can want more. But at the end of the day, after we want more, we're probably going to get used to it. So reframing and putting God as a centerpiece is definitely something that helps. That doesn't alleviate me from like day to day. Sometimes I do feel like, man, I want to make a lot of money. I think all these different ideas we talk about here and there.
Yeah.
But being content with what we have and understanding that, again, money is a tool, not our master.
Yeah. My mom actually taught me a real good way to frame it. And she told me, because, you know, like I said, we had a pretty big house growing up, more than enough space for everybody. And my mom told me, God has blessed us with this house, so we should share it with others. So my parents would host Bible studies at their house. They would always host like potlucks and dinners, and they would always have friends over. And they were great hosts because my mom put it in that framework. It's like, well, we were blessed with so much. Let's share it with everybody else. Let's open up our house to the church community so they can come hang out. They can come have dinner with us. They can do Bible study here. And that's like, yeah, I think that also affected the way that I view money and the like blessings that we get is like, oh, all the things that I have, you know, I'll share it with you guys. You know, everything that's mine is like, I mean, we talked about this too. Like, you know, anything that I have, I'm happy to share with you guys.
Yeah.
You know, so it's, I think that
This FYI, I eat like all of Joey's food all the time. Whenever he cooks it, I'm
He's
just
a
like,
very good cook.
Yeah. So yes, I know. We both know. I know.
yeah, but it's just a good framework to look at it that way, I think. But then it kind of goes into, is it bad to want to be wealthy? Because it's a different thing. I think it's 2 ways of the same question, right? Is it bad to be wealthy? Because like we said in the Bible story, right? Like the rich young ruler, he couldn't give it all away, but is it bad to want to be wealthy? Because all of us, like you said, we're young, we're driven, like we want things out of life, and a lot of that has to do with wealth. You know, I don't know about y'all, but I don't want to be more poor when I get older. I want to get more wealthy. You know, just being honest, just keep it real. You know, but is it bad to? I mean, and you guys know I'm like starting the business, right? And you know, at the end of the day, yes, I'm doing it because I want to help people, but also a part of doing business is making money. Like you have to make money to do business, right? So I want to make more money. Is that bad to want that though? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Just going back, I don't think it's bad to be wealthy. Um, I think it's okay to have a drive. That's how I like to think about it. Like, if your drive is like, yes, I want to grow my business. You understand the purpose. You understand the posture of your heart, which is really important because only deep down, only you and God know that. But I think it becomes bad and not healthy is when you start idolizing it. Like, it starts taking up over your time with a lot of relationships, for example. I think that's when it starts becoming a red flag. Yeah. But, like, for me, as I get older, like, it goes back to that question you asked about, like, when your mindset changes in a way. Like, for now, like, one of the first things that pops up in my head is, like, as I get older, I care about my health. Like, yes, I would like to be financially comfortable, but also, like, how can I spend any of that if I'm, like, not healthy? So that's something that comes to my mind.
I'm in the same wavelength. I don't think it's bad to strive to want to, or have a want to be wealthy. I think is becomes an issue when it's misplaced, when it's put as in places where God needs to be. Basically what you're saying, like idol. I see this as anything that we do that becomes more of, instead of being a good, becoming an addiction. That can go from anything, from work, working out, money. And the way that I gauged it was actually when I worked as an operations guy. I was so focused on work. I was working all the time. I didn't care about anything else. I didn't really talk to my family much. Yeah, you remember that. Yeah, I was
it's
like,
bad.
I'll come home, I'll
You
drop
work
my stuff.
crazy hours, man. I
Yeah.
remember. Yeah.
I'll drop my stuff off, and then I'll just pass out, wake up in the morning, and start all over again. I don't even remember how the day went, but I was like, I just want to make this thing grow. I want to make a lot. It wasn't even about the money at that point either. It was like this feed forward loop of how great it was, right? Sometimes it's the money, sometimes it's the work, whatever it may be. Once it gets to the point where it affects your health, like you said, your relationships with your family, friends, God, or even just your thinking, that's when I had to take a step back and reconsider. So to answer your question, it's not bad to strive. It's good to understand, to do small checkups, to know where your mind's at, and if it has taken over, like slowly take. It's like I think of Venom from Spider-Man. It smallly swallows you up.
Yeah, that's a good analogy.
But that's also why I'm very blessed to have people like you guys around. With money, also comes a responsibility to have people around you to keep you in check. And I think that's something you alluded to earlier. It's like the people you surround yourself with.
I also feel like the more money you have, the more problems it can bring too. That's just it. Like
No,
you
100%,
hear
yeah.
about like a lot of people like they want to keep up a certain image, let's say, right? They want to keep up like continuing with the bigger house, see like what's going on with their neighbors, right? It's becoming a competition. That's where rat race,
Yeah.
right? That,
Plus, not only that, but if you have more money, it's harder to know who to trust too. Because if you have people around you, are they there
see.
for your money, or are they there because they actually enjoy? Like, are they actually your friend, or they just want stuff too?
We're talking about that with Chris Tucker.
Yeah,
It's like, we're all rich
exactly.
now. It's like, no, that's my money.
Exactly.
You keep
yeah,
your job.
it kind of goes back to that first question you asked in the very beginning of this podcast. Then, like, would you rather be rich or poor? Because I thought about that. Like growing up, our mom always taught us very importantly to like, hey, remember like it doesn't matter about what people have, like their status, etc. It's truly about like their hearts. Are they very genuine people? But yeah, but like it can be a bit scary if you do have a lot of money and like you're questioning like, are you really my friend because of who I am, or because I have cash?
Yeah. That's so lonely too. Like that's such
Yeah,
a lonely
that's sad.
existence.
That's really sad.
It is. Yeah.
But that goes into another conversation that we can have is like taking risk, right? A lot of things we whether we like it or not, we're assessing the risks. We're doing risk mitigation all the time. When we buy certain things to eat, whether we buy it now, we buy it at the end of the week, whether we decide to talk to this person or not, whether we decide to trust this person or not, whether I spend this money here and there. And that's something that rich people do have. I can see that. But I think every day people have that risk too. It's just that do you want to take that risk and learn from it, or just be scared about it and not do anything at all?
I just thought of like a random story when we were talking about your friends are there, the people you're around are there, do they really like you because for you or not? I remember this, I'm not gonna say any names, but in high school, I was in like this friend group, and then it was like homecoming time, everyone was like, we're trying to make groups, and then a bunch of people like, hey, let's invite this person in the group because we can take pictures at his house because he has a big house.
Yeah.
And like, I just thought about that randomly right now. It's like, we didn't say, oh, because that's a nice person or that person's our friend. First thing everyone's saying was like, that's because he has a big house. You see, like, that already thought process as high schoolers. I'm like, dang. Which I'm not saying like I was innocent. Like I was not saying like I'm pretty sure I said that too. Like I'm pretty sure, and like I feel bad just even thinking about that right now. But that's just something I thought about.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. It's definitely like more money, more problems kind of situation, right?
Yeah.
Like, and then going back to what you said, Sam, is it worth it? Is that worth taking that risk of, yeah, there's going to be more problems, but is having all that money worth the problems for you? Do you think it is?
It honestly depends on how you view those problems, right? Some people say that they have their biggest problem may be self-control. Some may be not being able to sleep. Some may be not be able to think fast, right? But those problems are only problems if you can find a solution for it. So what I mean by that is everyone's going to have problems. It's how you adapt to it and if you're okay with it. We just exchange one problem for another problem. Like you said, the poor are gonna, like we said earlier in the podcast, the poor are going to have problems, and those problems are usually able to be solved by throwing money. The rich people, they probably have problems more so with relationships and insecurities, right? Now, the question is, what would you rather deal with? Which bed would you rather lie in?
Which goes back to the very first question. Would you rather be rich or poor?
Yeah.
Now that we've, fleshed it out even more, it's not as simple of a question. Everybody's answer would have been real quick. Would you rather be rich or poor? Rich, obviously, right? But now that you think about it, which one would you really rather be? Because at least if you're poor, people are around you because they like you. They have nothing else to gain.
Well, I'm an introvert, so I'm kidding. But it's always going to be the grass is green on the other side. We don't understand each other's problems. Like, there was a big streamer recently that said, man, the hardest job is streaming. And everyone gave him flack about it. They're like,
Doesn't mean you're enough for the first time. Like, what?
yeah. It was like, retail stores have a hard time, daycare workers, teachers. And he said, my job's harder than all of you guys, right? Because that's his little bubble. That's what he understands. But at the same time, the teachers and everyone else that he insulted also thought he had an easy job. But if you step in his shoes, you can understand that he's always getting like feedback that's negative, that it's affecting his mentation. He's sitting there all the time. You know what's going to be behind the scenes. Like, that becomes more of an issue and this is a deeper dive into just putting yourself in another person's shoe. And it also goes back to the sense of foundational security we have if we trust in God and being content, because we can go all these different ways. Like, obviously my thoughts still gonna be the same. I'd rather be rich, but we can spin it 4 or 5 different ways, and we can do an analysis like what's the benefits and the negatives of each of those situations. But it's always gonna compound and build. It's never gonna go away.
Sure. What about the middle then? Like, we've talked about like
Yeah.
the super, like in this scenario that we talk about, it's always like the super rich or the super poor, right?
Yeah.
What about the middle? Like, what problems do the middle class people have?
They get screwed on both ends.
True. I think that's very true.
You talked about this. What's the best money you have, and after that, it doesn't really matter anymore.
I think it was like it was like living in Atlanta specifically, like after 120, like 120,000 for a family of 4. That's fine. Mm-hmm. I think I read that in an article.
So that's 40,000, 30,000 each. We should be good.
I think whichever one can like leave to like a a simple life will be healthy. Like if you can be rich and still have a simple life, but I feel like rich simple, that's an oxymoron.
Warren Buffett.
Yeah, well, people like Warren Buffett
Yeah,
eating McDonald's.
actually,
Yeah. Look at that.
That's valid. Yeah.
He's like one of the biggest millionaires, and you just want to know. If you
I also think he genuinely loves his job.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Like, because there are a lot of people
100%.
that they can make like a lot of money, but like they're just, whether it's because they're still very insecure or like they just still hate the jobs. I think he's one of the guys like he really loves his job.
Dude, he just retired
Yeah.
recently.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember we talked about that? He's like 90-something years old.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's why he was able to do it so long, because he really just genuinely loves what he does.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, what's your number then? Like,
Oh.
what your number that if you made this much a year, any more wouldn't really matter to you. You're like, this is a good number for me.
This goes to actually, we talked about this at some point, the lady in the red dress that Alex Hormozy talks about.
Was I involved in this conversation? I don't remember this.
I think we were
I think
drinking.
it was me and Sam.
I think we, maybe.
Okay.
We're,
Yeah, because I don't remember
Or
talking
you were
about-
drinking and you forgot. I'm just kidding.
What?
No.
Yeah, I think we talked about it.
Yeah.
Though, yeah.
So what basically Alex was talking about during this time is like as business owners, you're gonna meet this girl over time. So your first 100,000 is gonna look very attractive. You gotta, if you trust yourself enough and you think you can do better, you're gonna say no to her. Then 1 million, then 2 million, 10 million, and then number keeps going up. But the idea is like, when are you gonna accept that girl? So that's what the number we're talking about is.
I see.
And to me, I have this soft number of like, if I make 150K, I'll be okay. But in reality, I don't have a number because I have a different drive. Like, money's not what drives me, right? My drive is to be able to change the community I am around. So money does help with that, but I think other things matter more, like networking, getting to know people, and building skills. I think skills, to me, is the most valuable thing. It's more valuable than money. Up until a certain age. Like, once I get to, like, 70, 80 years old, then money matters a lot more. Because even though I have skills, I might not have the bandwidth or the power to do anything with that. So it's a shift.
That number immediately popped up in my head when Joey said that. Like, I think 150.
Really?
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
I was
cool.
like, 150.
Dang. Okay.
No, but I feel like, no, I don't feel like, it depends on like where I am in my life. Like if I had family with kids, etc., like that's different.
Right.
You know, like you're gonna want to make sure. I feel like for all of us, like we're gonna want the best for our kids, right? So like make sure, not saying like they need to go private school or anything, but make sure like they live a comfortable life, that is, and like that depends. That's how do you do that? Yeah, with being there for them, but also like money could help. So that's what I was thinking in my head. But the first number that came to my mind was 150. A lot of Chipotles.
You don't want your kids to grow up poor?
I think about Jeffrey.
Yeah, that's what we talked about. That's why I mentioned-
I was
that's why I
thinking
said-
about that too.
That's why I mentioned Flint, Michigan.
We have this
Yeah.
one friend. I hope he ends up watching this, Jeffrey.
I'm gonna send this to you, Jeffrey.
Yeah, we're not
I'm
gonna send the
you
last name.
link.
We're not gonna send the last name.
I'm gonna send you the link though.
But he was saying, I remember he always says like, no, like I'm gonna be super rich and like when I have kids, I'm gonna make them grow up in Flint, Michigan, so they know the struggle and drink the water and everything. I'm like, for those that are in Flint, Michigan watching this, please ignore that. No disrespect.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, it's a terrible situation y'all are in. Really.
Yeah.
Our condolences,
Yeah.
really. But Jeffrey, what the?
Yeah. But no, I think, no, yeah.
Yeah, I think I was reading somewhere some billionaires. I don't know how true this is. I didn't really fact check it, but they're saying that they always have like millionaires. They usually have nannies, right? So they'll have nannies, and then after a period of time, some billionaires would drop off the kids like 10 grand and tell them to like live for the month there.
I saw this on a YouTube reel. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I was like, that's a very interesting way of doing things because they want them to experience. I think this goes back to what you were saying is like the rich, everything they can get by, do a lot of things. So they're trying to artificially create that type of drive or stress. So it forces the kids to grow because we know that stress does force you to either sink or swim.
Yeah.
And they artificially do that so they want to catalytically increase the rate at which their kids develop. So I don't know. I think about that sometimes. Like, does that make sense? Because again, everything goes back to our faith, right?
Yes.
I think that sometimes doing stuff like that is not necessary. I think if you put your kids or your family or yourself into God's hand and slowly walk with Him, over time, those struggles and stress that you're supposed to have, God will put those in due time and also help you walk through them. Now, is that something that you can still do? Yeah, but think smarter, not harder, or work harder. I mean, work smarter, not harder. Is how I think of it. It's like take the lifeline.
Yeah. I mean, because growing up, like, I was pretty, I was pretty well off. And I'm not going to lie, sometimes, especially, like, hanging out with you guys or, like, and don't take this the wrong way, but, like, hanging out with you guys and other people who were not as well off as me.
Dang, you can see this guy. I thought this was a talk. I found like roast.
When I was hanging out with poor people. When I was hanging out with the lower class citizens.
Every time Joey sees this, he's like peasants.
When I hung out with
Serfs.
peasants, like, it just no, like this might sound really weird, and this is gonna sound very privileged, but low-key, I was a little jealous. I was like,
Explain.
it's gonna sound weird, okay, but I was like, man, I wish I didn't grow up so privileged and well off. Like, I wish that I grew up a little bit more less well off, so that I had to struggle and challenge so I could grow as a person. Because I saw people like, well, you guys and
Jeez, he's really going at it.
I saw you peasants, right? But I saw how much you guys grew, and like, I was impressed in a sense. And I was like, that's something that I never experienced. So it's something I had to learn a lot later than everybody else. But it's something that, like I said, you can't buy that kind of experience, right? And some people will try to buy that experience by simulating it, throwing their kids in a city and like try to survive for a month or whatever. Like, yeah.
That too.
But just seeing that the way that you guys grew and matured, and just seeing how you guys saw things and like overcame the challenges that you did, I was impressed. And I was like, that kind of grit and resilience is something that I can't buy. Like, no matter how much my parents cared for me and bought me the things that I needed and wanted and stuff like that, I will never get that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if that makes any sense.
No, I think, and Sam, I want your thoughts. I think growing up not as like wealthy, it makes someone, especially like kids that start like growing, developing, etc., they grow up faster. Like in terms of like understanding life, the real world. That's what I think.
I think there's definitely truth to that. I was going to pose the question is, how much do you think our upbringing was due to our status or due to mom pushing us towards God?
I was gonna say, yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. I'm gonna hold off, but I'm first gonna let Joey answer that. Oh, were you asking me that?
Yeah, because he's.
Well, I don't have that experience.
I saw you looking at him. That's why. Oh, my bad.
No, because
my bad.
like
Okay.
Joey's gonna just. He's from the outside. He's looking in.
Yeah.
So like, all I see is like, I see you guys grow up and mature, and like, you guys have that resilience, right?
Mm-hmm.
You guys have like a type of resilience that I never would have had, in a sense. And I don't know, it sounds weird to say, but low key, I was a little jealous of that, because I was like, man, I wish I got to experience that so I can get the character traits that you guys have, because I had to learn that a lot later through my own struggles. And obviously nobody's life is perfect, right? Everybody, like you said, God will put your struggles. No one has an easy life. No one has a perfect life. You'll get struggles either way, rich or poor. But just seeing the character traits that you guys developed because of your circumstances, I was like, man, I wish I got to experience that so I could be more like you guys. I don't know. It sounds weird to say. I know. It's kind of weird, but that's just I don't know. But Sam, I'm curious. Actually, Sam, I'm curious because you said how much do you think was because of your financial circumstances, and how much of it was actually due to your mom pushing you guys to your
Yeah.
faith in God. If you had to put like a percentage to it, do you think you would be able to like maybe it was like 50-50 or like more one way or the other? Like,
I'll let you answer first, Dan, and I'll
Just
go.
so I'm
from
clear,
there.
one more time that question. The percentage.
So Sam said, how much do you think it was due to your circumstances, like financial circumstances, and how much of it do you think was due to your mom's faith pushing you guys towards God, that helped you guys grow and mature in that way? And then, so I was thinking like, okay, if you had to like put it to a percentage, because I think both of them had a play in how it pushed you guys in that to become the people that you are. But like, how much of it was like, was it more of your mom's faith, or was
Yes,
it more of
definitely.
your financial circumstances?
It was definitely more my mom's faith, like instilling like who God is, like He will provide. Do not be anxious. Like I want to say 80%, and then like also like when I was a kid, when we were kids, for me at least, Samuel was the one. His brain developed a lot quicker than me. I was like so clueless, innocent, etc. Like I was just like going outside, let me play basketball. That's why it goes back to saying like really around like high school when I started realizing like how money was really important. But the reason I'm saying that was like growing up, it was like 80%. Because like I still remember every time like growing up as a kid, the first thing my mom would ask me at least, and Sam, not about grades, not about etc. It's like, hey, did you talk to God today? Did you pray? Did you read a Bible today? And I still love that.
Those two chapters, right?
Yeah, and like she knew like I could not read. Like I was like I had like ADD or something. I didn't read, so I always say the same thing what I read. But she knew. But she just smiled, gave me hugs. I love you, and then like true prayer with me. But that's what I'm saying. Like a lot of it was the faith she instilled, and like whenever she talks about Christ and like even growing up, like you just see the confidence and the calmness it puts in her, and it always reminds me of the Bible verse. The verse is like Matthew 6:25-34 about do not be anxious, because like if God will provide for the birds of the sky, the flowers, because He's different from like the pagan gods, etc. Then if He's gonna provide for all of them, won't He provide for you? But the reason I said 80-20 is because like over time though, as I started like drifting a little bit away from Christ and like the like college and then like my first job, it started becoming like more of like money. So that started taking more of the percentage points. And again, it goes back to like the people you surround yourself with, the environment. But to answer your question, growing up, I think it's like 80-20, and our mom's faith instilled in us definitely helped us with like how we became in our upbringings and who we are today.
Have you guys heard of the phrase "井底之蛙"?
I feel like I have, but I don't.
I don't speak Chinese.
This was in a Chinese school. It was the frog in the well.
Oh, but
Yeah.
also like guys, I also failed every single Chinese exam.
Okay, explain the concept to me.
So
I don't know what that is.
I thought about that when you were talking. It's basically there's a frog in a well, and then everything around him he thinks that's their world. And then there's someone outside that says, there's something bigger, there's something bigger. He didn't believe it until he's out of that well, right? And I think that's how I thought of our situation is my mom built this wall around us about God and faith and shielded us to the best of her ability of how the world kind of operated. And even though I saw this early on about how money is very important, she basically always tried to combat it with the faith and also a lot of sacrifice she did for us. So it mitigated some of how we should have, societally speaking, and also stereotypically should feel as a person that didn't grow up well off, right? But to your thing, and that's what I thought about the frog is when we finally got out to the real world, mine's a little bit later because it was after med school. Yours was like right off of college, right? We start seeing how money was still, money's valuable. Like I truly believe money is very important. There's people who says it's not. It's they're not living in the real world. But it's how much power we can give it, and because of how she's influenced us and impacted us with pushing us towards God and having faith in Him, the power and the that we give money can be pulled back a little bit towards. So it's kind of like tug of war. Like when we feel, obviously, Daniel's thinking about 80-20 spread. Some days I might be 70-30. Some day I may be 50-50. Some day money's all I think about, right? It depends on the circumstances. But at the end of the day, I try to level in a place where most of that, most of my comfort and security falls back on God. So to answer your question, how much was influenced by God? I would like to say 100%. But realistically speaking, it's waned a little bit over the years. But right after leaving my mom, it was me being very naive. 70, 80, 20, 30. But the real world makes it difficult sometimes. Like bills,
Yeah.
the new cool toy, or
Costco.
Costco, yeah, or ramen. Like the next best thing. I'm like, dang, that's $17 ramen at Costco.
God, Sammy's like 2 packs of ramen a day.
No, I don't. It's one a day, just breakfast. All right.
You've done 2 before, man. I've seen it a
We've seen-
few
we've seen
times.
I was like, no, Joey and I was like, did you eat ramen? And he was like, no, did you eat ramen? I'm like, no, it was Sam. There's only 3 of us here.
I might have forgotten then. I might be sleep eating. No. But yeah.
Okay. I was thinking about this on my drive home from work today, actually. And I wanted to ask you guys this based on the topic of money. Have you ever made a decision and you made your choice because of money as the reason, and you regretted making that choice?
I want to say yes and no. I mean, yes to your first part, but no about regrets. Because I truly believe, like, God has a plan for all of us. So that's why this sounds so cliche, because I feel like every time I hear this, I kind of cringe, but I'm saying it right now.
Say it.
I don't believe in regrets.
Okay.
Like, I truly believe, like, God has a plan, and it was predestined. So that's why I was like, no, I don't believe in that. But yes, I made decisions, like big decisions, based off of money. And like, for example, my job, working in finance. Because Sam knows this. Growing up, I always thought I was going to be a pediatrician. I want to be a doctor, like ever since 5th grade. And then like, no, also like I did terribly in chemistry too. So I can't say like, oh, I would have been. I bombed chemistry too in college. But then, like, I learned about finance. I was like, oh, you can make a lot of money in this field. It's very lucrative. So that's one of the decisions I made, a big decision. So that's for me, at least.
I know we shouldn't have regrets, but I definitely do believe in regrets here and there. I do come to terms with it to understand that God has reason for it, but it doesn't take away from that emotion. To answer your question, have I made decisions based on money? I want to say yes, because I'm sure I have in the past. But a lot of my decisions are made because I don't understand how to. I don't understand the unknown. For example, one of the biggest things, there was a house near our neighborhood. It was up for sale for $300K. Do you remember what I'm talking about? Kenny's house.
Oh, that was.
Yeah.
Oh no, that was. Did you talk about the farm?
Yeah.
That was 700,000.
Was it 700K that ended up?
It was 700,000.
The bid started at 300K, right?
I don't know about the bid, but it ended up
Yeah.
selling for 700.
But it's just stuff like that. It's like there's opportunities out there. How do we capitalize on it? But I'm too scared to do so not because it's a lot to do with the money. I know there's ways on leveraging and whatnot and work on a margin, but I just don't know how to. So I would say a part of it is based on money, but a lot of it is based on my inexperience and knowledge.
Yeah. I was thinking about this on my drive home, and I think I have a few. I'll share 2 with you guys right now. Before we get into that, I do agree with what you said. I don't believe in regrets, but I also agree with what you said. It doesn't take away from the feeling of it.
Yeah.
Like after you make that choice, you're like, dang, I shouldn't have done that. Like that was so dumb. Like you do kind of have the feeling of regret, but then once you come to terms with it, you're like, God has a plan. Everything happens for a reason. This is all going to work itself out one way or another, right? But I definitely had the feelings though. I was like, the first one was the first one that came to my mind was I interviewed this was back when I was in college, and I did an interview to do an internship at a record studio, like a recording studio. So it was a really cool opportunity. It was a really big recording studio, and they eventually offered me the internship. They're like, "Hey, we like you. We want to bring you on," and they were like, "But this is an unpaid opportunity. You're gonna have to come in and just work. I think it was like 20 hours a week or something like that, but we can't pay you." And I was like, "Dang, okay." But I was in college at the time, so I didn't have a lot of money.
I didn't know about this.
Yeah, yeah. And I was like, man, can I afford to pay for like my classes and pay for like living regular life and also take on an unpaid internship? Like, I don't know if I could afford to do that right now. So then I respectfully declined the internship, and I ended up.
But Joe, you could have though.
I know. I could have.
If I was out of there, like Joey. Okay.
Here's the regret, though. So I found out a few years later that J. Cole, my favorite rapper of all time, recorded his record at that studio, and I could have been there, and it would have been so sick. But I said no. I could have met J. Cole.
That would have been cool.
Dude, that would have been sick, man.
Picture with him.
I know.
I only know one song by him.
I could have got his lunch or something. Like,
I know it's very popular. I only know one song by him. But no, he's famous. Yeah. He's famous. Yeah.
I was like, I found that out years later. I was like, dude, I should have taken that internship. I don't care if I was starving. I would have met J. Cole, man. But that was one where I definitely felt the regret. And then the second story that I thought of was New Orleans, when you guys did that trip, and you guys invited me, but I declined because I didn't have the money to go to the trip, and I was like, I can't come along this time, guys. And I was like, now that I look back on it, I'm like, dude, I could have made that money back. Like, it would have been fine. Like, and I missed out on the memories that y'all made.
Po' boy, Justin, if you're listening, Po' boy and Jeffrey.
Oh yeah,
and Jeffrey.
Yeah, Justin and Jeffrey.
Unicorn onesie.
Oh man, and now that I look back on it, I'm like, dude, I should have went on that trip, man. I don't know why. Like, I would have been out a couple $100. Like, I could have made that back in.
Yeah, because we're all in college. We weren't like balling out.
Yeah. It's fine. Just plug it back into the. I got you.
Okay, there we go. We weren't like living like a bougie life or anything.
I know. Yeah, it was dumb. I should have went on that trip. That's when I felt that regret too, because then y'all came back and y'all told me the stories, and I was like, dang, I missed out.
I didn't know that was one of your like things you thought about a lot.
Yeah,
Regrets,
thought about
quote,
it.
unquote.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, the J. Cole one really does.
That one
That's
stung.
a bum. That's a bummer. Yeah.
That one bummed me out for a minute. I was like, dude, that would have been so cool.
Yeah.
But it all worked out in the end.
Yeah.
I think that going through that experience, or choosing the choice that I made and going through the other route that I took, it taught me life lessons that I needed to learn too. So it all worked out in the end.
I would say might be off topic a little bit. Actually, no, not really. It still relate to money.
Say it.
That influenced you on your decision coming up in January.
Actually, yeah, kind of. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And we talked about it a little bit too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
That's why we think. That's why we're talking about like our ideas, because you thought I was gonna say no, right?
I did.
You both said
I should have like, Sam's gonna agree with me. In my head, I'm like, yeah, Sam's gonna agree with me.
And then all of a sudden, you both were like, whoa, that did not expect
I
that.
was the one that's like still the hard no, right?
Yeah.
It goes back to like from 1 to 10, what are you, 8, right? Saving and all that. Like, whereas that threw me off. That was a curveball.
That threw me off too. I was not expecting that at all.
Because one thing I learned in life is understanding, again, everything is based on risk mitigation to me. I always look at like, what's the risk and what's the reward, right? And I think experience is very important. You don't know what you're gonna gain from that. Like for example, you and like J. Cole, and that's also why I listen to a lot of business people. Like people, a lot of my friends, they want to be up and coming entrepreneurs, and I was listening to them and to see what they have to offer. You hear them out because you never know what's going to happen. Someone's going to have a good idea. And like a lot of the kids we mentor, I was telling them like, hey, don't let money be the thing right now because take this opportune time. You do have a fallback that none of us have as an adult. You have your parents. Right? Take the opportunity. If it's not paid, I understand it sucks. But know how valuable that skill is. Right? Like for the job that I had, I worked so much on. I didn't get paid much. But I learned so much. Like I learned more than if I went to school. I got a master's in management. Like I saw that in real life. Like you learn real quick when you lose money. I like lost 60 grand one time. I'm like, whoa, my goodness. And it was like in a day.
Yeah.
I'm like, I need to get my stuff together. So like those opportunities are very valuable. But the thing is, the word of caution is not every opportunity is valuable too. So you definitely want to sit down and really think and talk to other people about, reassess, and pray to God about it.
Yeah.
So that's what I would say. But definitely, that was one of the thought processes I had. I was like, where's Joey coming from? What's out there? What's the worst that can happen? And what's the best that can happen? And based on the two, does it make sense?
100%. Yeah.
That was still the curveball to me. That I was like, whoa, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, that threw me off for sure. I was like, oh, okay.
It's like 2 and 1 now.
Yeah. Awesome. Let's okay, so what we do on this show and what we're gonna do is, you guys want to play around?
Yes.
Yes, do this.
You guys haven't touched your drinks.
Oh yeah, I've been feeling loosey goosey. I've been good. All right, guys, we're gonna play a round of the CSP game. I'm gonna lay these all out for you guys. These are you guys have not played this
No.
version yet.
No,
These
it's
are
a new
cool.
back.
I mean,
So-
that one, yes. Those two.
Oh yeah, these two, yes, but this is a new volume
Oh, I like
that
this.
we're coming out with.
Look at that
so-
sushi chef.
Yeah.
Jurassic Park boys.
Let's do just for the sake of time, just because we are running at like an hour now. Let's just do one card,
Okay. You want to go first, Sam?
and we can all go answer it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dang, you only have 1-3.
Oh, just one card. We all just pick one. I mean, like, got it. Okay.
Yeah.
There's only 1-3. What happened to all the threes? 2 2s, 3 2s.
Dude, that's so cute.
I'm going for the chef.
Look at that. Yeah.
Chef Boyardee.
I was eyeing that one.
If you could have a meal prepared by the best chefs on the planet, what would you choose? Oh, ramen.
Dude, the best chefs on the planet. Like Gordon Ramsay level kitchen, and you want ramen?
You remember what we said? Like, no one knows this because I eat so much ramen, but I hate noodles. You remember we talked about
Yes.
that?
That was a curveball too. I didn't know that about you either.
I hate noodles, but I love ramen. I don't know why.
Interesting.
So you would get Gordon Ramsay to cook you a pack of Shin ramen?
No, I'll get that Iron Chef dad. You know?
Oh, yeah.
that guy.
Oh yeah.
With the ponytail, right?
Yeah.
To cook you a cup noodle. That's what you want.
Yeah. I'm sure he'll think of something amazing. Because ramen's different. The noodle's the base, but like the pork.
Okay, so
beef.
you want like the actual ramen, not like the instant ramen.
No.
That
I
we're
want
eating.
the real
Okay.
thing. That's why I want to go to Japan. I want to try the real authentic.
Dude, come with
ramen.
me, man.
Yeah.
Come.
We were all supposed to go, but no one ever followed up. But whatever.
I bought a ticket. I'm waiting for y'all, man. I don't know. Okay.
For
I
me,
thought, at first I thought you meant like the instant ramen.
Oh no,
I was like,
no.
dude, I can cook that for you.
I
bro.
get that from the pack. No, I want like their thoughts, their philosophy.
Okay.
I want like non-Michelin, like actually good ramen.
and they can add stuff to it, right?
Yeah,
like,
obviously.
Okay.
Because they have different broth, they have different meats, they have
The
like,
eggs and all that.
Yeah.
Okay.
What about you, Daniel?
Best chef.
Best chefs in the world, top of the line.
Okay, I can say this because I'm not just saying this because my mom doesn't watch YouTube and all that stuff. That's why I'm prefacing with that. But it will be, my mom makes great dumplings, so I'll just continue like
Oh yeah.
rip those out. That's what I do. Because that's the first thing that came to my mind. And I was like, should I say that? I'm thinking through that. Because I'm trying to think of chefs, like whether it's Gordon Ramsay or that Iron Chef. Like, I can't think of it. The food that they put out there online, it seems delicious. It looks great, but
You still gotta try this meatloaf.
I don't think I'll
His
ever
meatloaf.
be able to try this
Yeah.
meatloaf.
That's not his meatloaf. It's something else. You know the brisket wrapped in like
Oh, beef Wellington.
yeah, that's it, Wellington.
Oh yeah.
I'll take the dumplings over that.
Yeah, dumplings are good, man.
Yeah.
Dumplings are good.
Or Joey makes really good fried rice. I crush that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's always gone after. Like,
Yeah.
Immediately after we make it.
Yeah.
I never see it. So
Is that?
Yeah, you can blame Daniel for that one.
Yeah.
Man, if I had to pick one meal, chicken fettuccine Alfredo.
Really?
Dang, Italian.
Yeah.
I expect that.
Do Italian. I love Italian food, man.
So you always make those pastas.
Yeah.
I will say one thing. Those steak and frites we had, those fries.
Oh, the frites are good.
They were good. The
frites
frites,
are
yeah.
good.
Yeah, you guys had it. I didn't touch it again.
Those are really good.
Oh, wait, I mean, we ate it at the restaurant.
Yeah, that was good. I'm not like
I didn't get to eat it after.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, somebody killed the ones that we that we brought home, but
That was really good.
yeah, actually, okay. If can I change my answer?
Yes.
I would do.
burgers.
I will go to Jiro's Sushi
Oh yeah, that
in
looks-
Japan. That's what I'll go to. He's got like a 2-year-long wait list or something crazy, and like yeah, it's in the middle of a subway station, and he only does like certain amount of people per service. Like it's so hard to get into.
Oh, it's not a pop up. It's like a legit restaurant.
Yeah, it's a legit restaurant.
I have a follow up question there. When you guys go select restaurants, how much is about aesthetics and how the food looks, and how much about taste?
Straight up taste.
Taste.
Actually, I would even take that back. For me, at least, part of me is like portion size. I wanted like to fill me up.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
not
like
like-
that small.
Yeah, like we went to my friends and I. We went to Nobu, and then like we had all this food. Don't get me wrong, the food was good. It was tasty.
He's talking bad about this place.
I mean, look, you won't get in trouble for that.
No, you won't.
Yeah,
I'm
won't.
teasing
Okay, you
though.
won't get in trouble for that. Okay.
I'll tag Nobu on the video. Don't worry.
No, Nobu was great. No, but I'm like, why are we like this much for that? And like right after, I was like, I want to go to McDonald's. I need to go somewhere to eat. I'm so hungry.
Yeah.
So that's why I care about. I definitely care about the taste over the aesthetics, but I also care a lot about like the portion size because I eat a lot.
How about you, Joey?
Yeah, no, I'm 100% taste. Like I will go to the most rundown, like
Yeah, mom and pop.
crappy looking restaurant. The servers can be mean to me and call me names. I don't care if the food tastes good. I'm there, man. Like it can. Yeah, I'm taste over aesthetics 100%.
That's like those authentic Chinese places.
Yes. Yeah. Dude, they have the saying, never go to a clean Chinese restaurant.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I was thinking like in my head, you gotta find cockroaches in the back. Yeah. You gotta like look around. You gotta have like there's like underage kid like in the cash register like, what do you want?
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
getting mad like cash only.
If you go to a clean Chinese restaurant, I'm walking right out. It's not going to be good. I promise you
He's
that.
like, is that for Breeze? Ew.
Nice. All right. One last thing. A tradition that we like to do on this podcast is share some life lessons, some wisdoms. If you had one life lesson that you've learned throughout your life that you would like to share with the world, what would that be?
You wanna go first?
Mine is gonna be very. We can.
Just speaking to.
I think we talked a lot about this, but getting to know God at a very early age, I think that's very important. Excuse me. The second thing I would say, that's more secular, is be curious. Like, I think one of the things that I need to get better at, and I'm glad I have my mom and also Daniel and the people around me. I learned really fast growing up.
Yeah.
Like I digested so much because when I came to America, I didn't know English well. So my mom would literally make me read a book or two every single week. You know this.
Yeah, but not me, which I'm grateful for.
Every time I finished a book, she was giving me another book. I'm like, holy moly. I went through my whole library in elementary school. Like every time they had a new book, they just give it to me because I read it out. So I had a lot of information I consumed. And also, it's also bad, just like having a kid with a lot of money at an early age, having that knowledge very early on made me very prideful. And looking back, I missed out on a lot of opportunities to learn. So, something I like to do nowadays is surround myself with people a lot smarter than me and being able to listen to what they know so I can, even if I know the topic, this is something I'm working on recently. Even if I know what they're talking about really well, it doesn't hurt for me to listen and see another perspective on how to deal with it. So being curious, definitely, and being a little bit more humble.
You kill the ARs.
Yeah,
those quizzes.
dude, I always won.
Yeah. If we have two, then one of them is yes. It's really yes. There's a difference between like the idea of God and also versus like building intimacy with Him.
Mm-hmm.
So like really seeking Him, reading His Word, developing that relationship, praying. That's number one. Second thing is spend more time with family, people you love. That's like it makes you happy. If it makes you smile and it's not sinful, like hang out with you guys. You guys always make me laugh, telling me random stories, etc. Easing me up, like I love that. So that'll be my second one.
Awesome. Cool. Thank you guys. I appreciate y'all coming on the show. Thank you guys so much for doing this podcast. Finally.
Finally.
And that's it. Thank you guys. Peace.
See y'all.
Peace.